Now, Colonel Mangena, before we took a break, we were talking about what are known as known matches and a known non-match. And then you had described those for us and how they work. Now, with regard to these two concepts, the 8 test fires that you fired, will they be known matches then?
There will be known matches, my lord.
Okay. Now, for your examination, comparison, and findings, let's concentrate on the 6 CMJs. The sequence of how you conducted this examination. Did you fire 2 shots, and then you go to the comparison microscope and compare with, once you find the marks, striations, impressions, you go to the firearm, you compare with the exhibit firearm. What was the procedure? I need to get that in my mind.
The procedure on?
You fire the 2 tests, right? The test fires. Then you go to the microscope and compare the 2 tests between themselves, right? You compare test 1 and, say, for example, test 3 and 4, where they fired from the same make of bullet.
My lord, I took 8 cartridges,
yes,
and I marked them, because I took 2 from each, 2 from NGA, 2 from Sailor and Ballot, then the 2 from PMP, which were the FMJs, and then the other 2 I can't recall
okay,
the manufacturer.
Yes.
And then I marked them all, and then I fired test on them.
Yes.
And then before I could do that, I've compared my test with Warrant Officer Rule Officer's test first, yes, the FMJs.
Yes.
And then I started with the other.
So what I'm trying to get is that you fired 3 to 10 consecutively, or you took breaks in between, went back to the mic and microscope and fired 2, or was it consecutive in the tank, 3 up to 10?
I fired from 3 up to 10
okay,
at once.
All right. Then from there, take us through how you went about your comparison there.
I started comparing the FMJs first with, yes, Warrant Officer Rule Officer's test. And
okay,
after that, I started with the exhibit bullet, started comparing it with all the other tests.
Let me come back a bit, and this is for clarification as well, because I told you I'm a novice in this thing. The 3 to 10 that you fired, before you do the comparison, do you compare them amongst themselves to see whether similar marks were imparted on them?
Well, I compared them with, I didn't compare them among themselves first.
Yes.
I compared them with the exhibit bullet that I had.
Oh, okay.
Because I know it's a known match,
okay,
because they were all fired by myself.
Okay. So let's go to, and I'm going to request Advocate Baloyi. I requested that yesterday to assist us with the court charts that you prepared. And I'm going to ask you to take us through and show us, because in your testimony last year in August, when you testified about your findings, you said in the first one, and we didn't know what the first one was, or personally, I didn't know what the first one you were referring to. You stated that in the first one, you found 6 consecutive matching stria or striations in the same relative position. Is that my understanding of your evidence?
That's correct.
So when we refer to the first one in terms of the court charts that were submitted, are we then referring to what is marked Exhibit X13E1 on top? I'm not sure if what you have has been marked, but the court ones have been marked so that we are on the same page. The one that has got the lab number, I think the lab numbers are the same, 217, 267 or 14, and 34369 or 15. Are we talking about this one? Are we on the same page? Is this the same one, the first page of this exhibit that is displayed there?
That's correct, man.
Yes. Now, Colonel, I'm not sure whether you're going to be audible, because we've gone through this exercise with our expert who's present in court for you to show us the 6 matching stria that you said you found on that exhibit. And also for purposes of clarification, The one on the left, because there's a division line, the one on the left is the exhibit bullet, and the one on the right is the test bullet, correct?
That's correct, my lord.
Yeah, so if you can go, I'm not sure whether you've got a pointer that you can show at us, and just for the sake of background purposes, the method that you used, the 6 striations that you say you found, the criteria that you use is CMS, correct?
Yes, I use the CMS only.
So if you can kindly, Colonel, show us, I don't know whether you've got something to line up with to show us that these are the 6 striations that I'm talking about. Yeah, you can.
Must
you
I
can-
move to the...
Yeah, you can, Captain, Colonel. I'm not sure whether
It's not going to pick up when it moves.
it's not going to pick up. Is this not movable?
No point.
No.
Sure. Can we see?
So what you're saying, you're saying his sound or voice won't come up to here because can you speak up,
Yeah, it
Colonel?
won't
Let's do it this way. Go there to the board. And as loud as you can shout, answer the council's question, right? Hello?
Yes, my lord.
And then thereafter, you repeat it to be recorded in the microphone so that it can be recorded. So the first one, you can shout like you're relating pirates.
He can use this microphone. It's been made available to him.
Yeah, so that the second one, then you talk so that when he tests whether you have recorded what you were saying previously, it can show that.
My lord, when I look at...
So, sorry, Colonel, before you start, your conclusion or findings was that you found matches on TB5 and TB9, correct?
Yes, as I have marked them here. If you look at on my left hand side, it's
Yes.
the exhibit bullet, which is marked 217, 267, 14, A2. And the test bullet is this one, which is marked,
Yes.
test bullet is marked 369, TB5.
Okay.
Now, when you do microscopic comparison, when you look at them, what you're doing is you are not just set them and look at them, you move them also. You must move if you see if your markings, your striations continue to the side, not only on one spot.
In terms of sequence, let's do it this way because I want to be precise and understanding. First, and I'm not sure if it's the same procedure that you used. You've got the test, right? And then you take it to the ocular comparison microscope and you see firstly at the best marks that you can use for comparison. Am I making sense?
My lord, when you start searching, you cannot just start with the best mark. You start looking at the
Yes,
marks
around,
that are
yes,
visible, that you
yes.
can see.
Yes.
Sorry, let me suggest something. Tell the witnesses and myself and everybody in court, how did you go about testing the using the microscope, moving it above, testing the exhibit bullets and the ones, CMJs and, okay.
Thank you, my lord. I
So
mean, that
explain that way. Then he can cross-examine you, tell you that you were wrong to do this, it never happens, blah, blah.
My lord, what I did is I took the exhibit bullet and put it on the microscope on my left hand side.
Right.
And then I took the test bullet and put it on the microscope on my right hand side. When you look through the eyepiece, you can see both items at the same time. Right? You can start with your exhibit bullet, try and look at the marks that is visible, that you can see clearly, that you can identify on your exhibit bullet. And once you have a mark that you see on the striations that you can see clearly on your exhibit bullet, you go to your right hand side on your test bullet, you start checking on all the grooves one by one. We can see the identical marks on your exhibit bullet, on your test bullets. Once you have seen the identical marks on both items, on your exhibit and on your bullet, you start counting how many are they or how clear are they, or look at the quality of your markings or that you can see, or even the quantity of how many are they. Then when you start moving your exhibit, you move both of them simultaneously to the next groove. You check the next groove. And on the next groove, you look at the markings. If there are any markings that can, if you can't see clearly the marks or there's no, you turn now to the next groove. So moving to your grooves, you must move on both items at the same time. You cannot move one and then leave the other one, because your marks must be relatively on the same position. So if it's on groove number 1, it must be on groove number 1. If it's on groove number 3 on this one, it must be on groove number 3 on this one. And when looking at that, you can see a pattern that matches on both sides. Not necessarily the striation, but you can see even a pattern, that this pattern also appears on this. You match that pattern, it must be also be in relative the same position. You don't have to find 6 on all the grooves, or in some of the grooves you can find 2 or 3 that matches to 2 or 3, as long as they are on the same relative position when you rotate all of them.
Okay. Now, let's move to the 6 striae that you said you found on TB9.
On TB
This one.
5.
That is this. Is this TB5, the one that is displayed? Is it TB5?
My lord, as I said, when you look at them, you don't just look at one point.
Yes.
You also move them to the side.
Yes.
Now, there are, in some instances, you can see your marks clearly towards the edge of the bullet. But when you look into this one, the same marks that you see on this, because it's a striation, it continues to, you can see clearly towards the front of the bullet, not towards the back of the bullet.
Colonel, I'm not sure whether you still have Exhibit 4 on you, which is the exhibit bullet, and show us this part on the left relative to the bullet, whether it's at the base, in the middle, or at the front. I'm not sure if you've got it.
Which one?
The exhibit bullet, the actual projectile that was fired. If you can use that to demonstrate your explanation.
I'll rather use this.
Oh, the big one, yes. Yeah, show us with the model big one, yes.
Now, when your bullet went through the barrel of a firearm, when you speak of the grooves, we are speaking of this, and the striations are these lines inside your grooves. Now, when you do your comparison microscope, your exhibit will be on your left, your test will be on your right.
Yes.
When you look through the microscope, you can see them as if they are joined together. Right? Let's say these are the best marks or the clear marks that you can see on your exhibit bullet. Now you start rotating the test bullet to see if you can see any matching striations on this one. That can continue with this one. Now, if you haven't matched, like it's a continuation from that side to this side, you start moving them together to the next groove. Is the next groove matching? Now, in this instance, what you see, the idea that is there, it's towards the back of the, somewhere here.
Okay.
Now, if you look at your bullets towards the front,
Uma ubheka inkambi yakho ke phambili,
I just want to point out something.
Yeah,
like
fine.
this. Now, when you look at your striation line,
Use that
The laser.
laser.
it's not clear.
It's not clear. Okay, fine,
It's
fine.
not clear.
All right, fine. Okay.
Now, when you look at it, the first one, you see this, the third one continues to that.
Yeah, the first line.
Now, when you look at this one, there's 2 others here, but they're not visible here, they're not very clear, but they continue there towards the front. You have this one that continues straight. It's this side and it's that side. You have here, this side is not that clear, but on that other side it's clear. And my lord, it all goes with experience and training that you have received.
And we've said that those striations that match must be in the same relative area, correct?
In the same relative area, yes, they're in the same relative area.
position. Because what I did not get, I'm not sure which line, is it possible to numerically identify the lines that you've seen, the striations? Should I, my lord, I beg leave to check. Take a look with me closer here. I want to see something. I was wondering if we can also go patch ourselves somewhere so that we can also
Yes, yes,
follow
yes, yes. No problem.
the explanation there.
No problem.
Thank you, my lord.
Hey, I want to hear everything which is said in this court. No whispering.
No, he was saying that.
I want to hear that.
Okay, my lord.
I want to
sorry
hear
about
that because that's evidence.
Sorry, my lord, about that. Yeah, Colonel, you can then approach the monitor and point at the lines for us.
When you look at the first one,
The first try.
the first two that runs like a rail train.
First two.
Train, the rail, what? Train rail.
Train, yeah?
These two here. Come back, clear, but we continue looking towards it. There they are.
On the right, they are clear. On the left, sorry. On the,
they are clear.
and when they move towards the right,
Towards the dividing line.
that's it.
They are not
They become fainter.
they become faint.
Right.
And they are clear again here towards the front of the bullet. We have a third one, this third one that continues towards the side.
Is that on the top of the left? Is that the third one is on top?
This one.
Yeah. Is it the top? It's not the top.
No, it's on the same groove.
Okay, fine. All right.
It continues, but when it gets towards it, yeah, it's not that clear. But when you continue to it, it's also clear again.
The right side, it's half clear.
Yes, just after the dividing line, it's half clear.
And then
clear.
it becomes fainter.
Yeah, it becomes faint and it
It's
becomes
fainter
clear again.
when you start, it's on the medium line. When it,
After passing this dividing line,
it becomes faint.
it becomes a little bit faint.
That's it.
And then it picks up again.
And then it picks up, yeah.
And we come to this one, man. It's also visible this side, straight.
It's visible all around.
That's correct. And when you look up here, it's this one. It starts here. It continues to that side.
Yes, I'm with you.
And here, it starts here. This side is not clear, but it starts here. When you go towards the front, it continues.
Okay.
And all these are on one groove, man.
What do you call those so that we all understand?
Striation.
Striations. Right. Okay.
Now, Colonel,
At
sorry.
the end of the experiment. Okay.
Thank you, my lord. Now, Colonel, with respect to this TB5 and the test bullet as well, the stria that you've just counted and referred to, are they matching consecutively according to you? Okay. So this one, we are saying that you found 6 matching consecutive stria.
That's correct.
And then are those the 6 ones that you pointed out? How many did you point during this exercise here?
In 7, man.
Okay. Then let's go to the one that you referred to that I'm not sure which one is going to be, because in your evidence in chief previously you said on the other one you found 5. So I don't know which other one you found 5. Can you, from the exhibits, show us which one you found 5?
It is on E4.
Show it. Let's see it.
Is this what we are referring to?
That's correct.
Again, Colonel, I'm going to ask you to repeat the same exercise by approaching the monitor and showing us precisely those 5 matching striations.
We'll start with this one. It's there and it continues to that side. We have this one that continues from this side. Also, the 2 that runs like a rail train. We have this one, which is the 4th one. And we have the 6th one, which is on, the 5th one, which is on top.
And are you confirming that those 5 are consecutively matching striae as well?
That's correct.
Then finally, regarding this chart, Colonel, can we go to the one that you said you found 2 matching striae?
When you use the word conservatively, what do you intend? I know what you want to say, but is that the correct word?
Consecutive, that's the criteria,
No,
madam.
consecutively.
Consecutive.
Oh, fine. Yeah, it's the Z which
matching.
confuses me.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't come up with me, my lord. It's the term that they use in the statement. I'm not using it.
You look at E2 and E3, it's the same one. It's just that the
E2?
magnification is not the same.
Sorry, E
E2
and
and E3
Ah, what? The same?
is the same groove, but
Yeah.
the magnification are not the same. I didn't use the same magnification. Well, I'm trying to enlarge it so that it can be clear.
Okay, but they are in the same group.
It's the
as
same
you say.
groove. It's on the same groove.
You don't have a microscope with you here. You don't have.
No, my lord.
No, I was just thinking. Or a magnifying glass. You don't have.
No, I don't have the
So
magnifying
that a
glass.
doubting Thomas like me can take it and go and look at it and see what you are saying when you say it's there in the same group, but you didn't magnify it because you wanted it to be clearer. Am I quoting you correctly, sir?
That's but I took it. The magnification is not I didn't
Important.
use the same lenses. In one you can see it, and the other one I try to enlarge it so that it can be a bit clearer.
So one is enlarged.
The magnification.
Right,
When you
yeah.
use the smaller magnification,
That's it.
you can see it, but you can't see it. When you increase your magnification,
Yeah, it becomes
like
diffused.
you bring it closer so you can see them better.
But they are also predicated on the same principle that they have to be on the same level.
That's correct, Maro. They are
Yeah,
on the same level.
On
and
the same level, so that we
relative-
mustn't think some
on
of
the
us
same
that
relative
they are,
position.
they are haphazards. They are on the same level, as you said, that's the principle.
That's
And then-
correct, my lord.
And then you move them together in the sense of the scope, the microscope, when you
Microscope.
move them also.
That's correct, Maro.
Fine.
so with respect to what you say, they are the same groove, one to different magnification, E2 and E3. Which one between them is the larger magnification?
E3, you can see, but you can't see it exactly clearer as E2.
Which one is this now? The one that is displayed, Colonel, if you can look at the monitor, is this
That's
the,
E3.
is this the magnified one? I mean the.
That's the E3, yes.
Okay, and then if you then approach the monitor again and say, if you can see the two striae that you said you saw consecutively there.
You can see these two, man.
What are those?
Those are the striations created by the groove of the father.
Let me return then to my okay. All right, and let's go back, Colonel, in respect of the first where you identified 6, 5, and 2 retrospectively. Respectively. Where are the individual characteristics as opposed to those characteristics here? What
Those
were
are
we-
the individual
were we looking
characteristics.
for
The
individual
ones that I was pointing out to you, individual characteristics.
And even E2 and E3, the ones that you say are similar, are also individual characteristics.
That's correct, man.
And then let's go to E4 and E5, because I want to know how many identifications have you made. E4 and E5, are they one and the same thing or different things?
E4 and E5 is the same markings with different magnification.
Thank you, my lord. Let me return to my station. My lord, I'm going to request that we take, having had the exercise done, to take instructions from our experts so that I can continue with my
You want me
cross-examination.
to read?
What's
What's your time there, sir?
8,
3, my lord.
20 to 3.
You want me to adjourn? Or what do you want me
Yes,
to do?
yes, my lord.
For how long? Forever or when?
Uh,
2 weeks.
Until 3, my lord, is 22.
Until 22. What's the time now?
Until 3, it's 22 3, my lord.
Until 3 o'clock.
Yes.